Did you know bees and butterflies are essential for the health of our gardens? Gary Lewis from Phoenix Perennials joins us now with a look at plants that will help attract some visitors. Welcome back, Gary.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, nice to have you here. And besides being fun to watch, bees and butterflies are pollinators.
Yeah, they're pollinators. They're really important to our gardens as well as to our agriculture. So it's really important for us to be aware of them. I mean, of course, they're super cute, right? How can you not love a hummingbird or a little bumblebee around your garden? But they actually play a really important role in our lives. So for instance, 30% of all of our food is pollinated by bees. Honeybees and native bees. And that's most of our fruits and vegetables. So can you imagine going through life without fruits and vegetables?
I know, it really does affect the food chain in a huge way.
It really does. And if you look at numbers from the US, for instance, about $15 billion of agriculture every year is pollinated by native and honeybees. So we really can't live without them. Plus, about 90% of all of our native plants are pollinated by bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and other pollinating insects. So they're really integral to our lives. We couldn't live without them. And plus, they're super cute.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a beekeeper, so I grew up around this and how important it is. Now, why do we need to support them?
Well, just for all of those reasons, because they are so important to our agriculture as well as the food in our gardens. So we need them to be pollinating those veggies that we're growing in our pots or in our plots in the garden.
So how do we do it?
So first of all, we want to think about not using pesticides in our gardens, as well as just planting diverse gardens with lots of habitat. So for instance, hummingbirds need places to nest and raise their young. Bees, we have honeybees in our hives, but BC has about 80 different species of native bees, and most of those are ground-dwelling bees, so they have little nests in the ground. So it's important to have garden spaces and lots of different plants in the garden. And then on top of that, of course, nectar, and that's where flowers come in.
Okay, now we've got a division here of flowers, so tell us why.
So on this side right here, we've got plants that hummingbirds really like. And so hummingbirds tend to like tubular flowers, and we all know hummingbirds are famous for liking red. They do love red flowers, but they will go for other colors. So what they're looking for, if you think hummingbird has a really long, narrow beak, right? So they want to stick that in there, stick their little tongues out, and suck up the nectar in there. So they're looking for tubular flowers, like this penstemon, for instance, or tubular flowers like this red hot poker, or sages, or the hummingbird mints, or lobelia, for instance, the red ones here, or even monarda, the bee balm. So they're looking for tubular flowers with tons of nectar right at the end of those little tubes that they can suck up and use for energy.
Okay, and these ones over here?
So over here, these are plants for bees and butterflies. And bees and butterflies tend to like a little bit of a different plant. So they tend to love daisies. So when in doubt, if you want to support bees and butterflies, plant daisy family members. So daisies, purple coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, they love that. They also love plants that form in spikes. So they like little small flowers. There's lots of nectar in those little small flowers. If you think about it, bees and butterflies love to crawl around on things and crawl all over the place and suck the nectar out of those flowers. So they like vertical, spiky flowers, or they also like umbel type or round flowers. So you can just picture a butterfly or a bee crawling all around on these spheres of this ornamental onion and collecting all of the nectar. As well, bees really like pollen as well, because pollen is a protein source for them. So we are also planting plants for pollen as well as nectar for bees, so we want to look at that. And in terms of butterflies, they also need a place to lay their eggs where their caterpillars can, and we have to put up with this a little bit, chew on some leaves so that they can survive. So this is, for instance, a milkweed.
And that's the one.
And so milkweeds are, of course, famous for the monarch butterflies, which we sometimes get in BC from time to time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this fantastic advice. They are something we need to be protecting, especially the bees.
Yeah, especially the bees, and our native bees especially.
Okay, well, thank you. Now, to watch this segment again, check out our website, ctvmorninglive.ca.